Today we're going to show you what approximately $2,500 a month gets you in New York versus London. Then we're going to compare the similarities and differences between apartments in the two world cities. You don't want to miss this. Let's begin with my apartment in Park Slope, Brooklyn. Now we're 15 minutes by subway to Manhattan. There's a lot of restaurants, shopping, and brownstones. Tons of brownstones. This apartment is part of a house where every single unit takes up an entire floor. Now we did film an apartment tour 1 year ago, right after we moved in, but we've made a lot of changes. We didn't have this when we filmed the last tour, and for a New York City apartment, absolute lifesaver, because probably in London too, space is a premium. So we put all our shoes in here, and you could fit 8 different pairs. And you can put keys and other stuff up top as well. I don't even know where this came from, but it came. We paid $2,500 a month in Park Slope. The apartment is about 600 square feet. We've been here over a year now, so I think we've made it feel more like home. Adriana was really big on having little lights everywhere, and I think it adds a cute touch to the apartment. Compared to our old apartment in the Village, this is a lot of space to prepare food. It's not like a humongous kitchen, I would say, by American standards, but by New York City standards, I actually think this is a really nice size. And this is probably our biggest room in the apartment, right?
Yeah, I think in the Village I used to cook in a space that was this big. And that was all the space I had, and I have here and all this space, but I have to say I think I keep using the same little space because I got used to it.
I've been to friends' apartments in London before. We do not have an electric kettle. I've heard that British people prefer tea to coffee, so we've just got a Keurig and lots of coffee. We consume tons of it. One of the great things about having an artist as a wife is she has decorated most of the apartment, and we made a really cool switch right here.
Yeah, now we have the 3 most iconic food in New York City: the pizza, the bagel, and pastrami sandwich. So I painted these ones, and I think they're cute. So this is my little office. It has everything I need. A desk with a nice view of a backyard. I can't believe I have a window on my desk. I didn't even have a proper studio in your apartment. And I have a bookshelf with all my art supplies, and this little cart with my prints and everything I sell on my Etsy. So it's really nice, and I like to spend a lot of time here.
Last video we made, we actually got a lot of compliments about the bathroom, and I mean, the owner of this apartment did a fantastic job, just everything about it. We have a nice walk-in shower here, which is really cool. And we did add this eventually. This is a nice little product, having a speaker in the shower so I could sync my Spotify to whatever music I want, and I can sing if I want, and no one will ever hear me. But not the biggest bathroom on earth, but it gets the job done. Got some space down here. We have a little cabinet there. I get video ideas sometimes. I just look at this map of New York City, and I'm like, where haven't I covered yet? The living room setup has changed a bit since our last video. She did a nice like autumn motif here. Have the pumpkins, we have the leaves with the little lights, even has the pumpkin. Guess we're gonna be shifting to like holiday mode soon. The last video I explained how we tried getting a 3-seat couch up the stairs, but we didn't pivot. I got so many friends jokes. So we had to get 2 separate pieces, which actually worked out really well, especially when we have guests, because it can be kind of awkward if you have 3 people sitting all in a row. This way we could turn and talk more. This was one of the best purchases we ever made off of Wayfair. Gotta thank my mom for giving me this idea, because I wanted a sectional couch that had the legs sticking out like this, but it would take up too much walking space. So unless I'm here relaxing, watching TV, you know, I just close it up. If space is at a premium, a reclining couch is amazing. And more of Adriana's artwork. Actually, all of this is available on her Etsy shop. If you're interested in purchasing any of this, any artwork you've seen, use the code HereBeBar 15% off for my subscribers. Pocket doors. There's pros and cons to this. The pro is you could have this open layout, and it's an easy way to block out people seeing into here. The con is they're not that noise proof. So if someone's watching TV really loudly and I'm here, I can usually pick it up. Now, I don't know about London, but this is something that I think is really Brooklyn style, especially this part of Brooklyn, Park Slope. Fireplace. It's decorative right now. Now in the previous video we had books in here. Now I've decided to put a plant. Adriana has like an army of stuffed animals. We never liked having a headboard if you're in an apartment where the room isn't that big. So if you paint a headboard like this, it looks like you have a headboard and is decorative, but it doesn't take away any space. And we actually kept our full-size bed from the village. Now people have asked us, well, why don't you get a queen-size bed? We could even get a king in here in theory, but I just like having the extra space. Also, we cuddle a lot, so I'm probably gonna cut that. Got these lamps off Amazon. Love it, because you could tap once, tap twice, tap three, off. I'm not sure if I spend more time sleeping in that bed or sitting at this computer, editing videos and doing other tasks related to my YouTube channel, and having two different windows that I can look out of onto a beautiful street in Brooklyn. It's so good for my mental health. The most useful room in this apartment is by far the walk-in closet, because you can store tons of stuff here. We have 3 different shelves full of clothes. We built in other shelves here as well. We filled up all the top. I'm married, so she takes up most of the space. I have some space here, but yeah, it's like, somebody once told me that no matter how much space you get, you will always find a way to fill it up. No truer words have ever been spoken, because this room has been a disaster before. Now, for those watching in the UK, I know air conditioning is not a big thing over there. We do have a portable AC. If you have one of those window units, to store them is such a pain in the butt, but these don't take up that much space. Just throw it into the walk-in closet. We need air conditioning here in New York City in the summer. Unless you live in a newer building, you're gonna have one of these loud steam heaters. And anyone who's ever lived in New York knows exactly what I'm talking about. Let's see how the other half does it across the pond. Jess Dante from Love in London YouTube channel, take it away.
Hi guys, I'm Jess Dante from the YouTube channel Love in London, and I am an ex-New Yorker who now lives in London and have been here for 8 years. And I'm going to give you a tour of my £1,500 a month flat here in East London. I was really lucky to get this flat at the price that I did. It had a bit of a COVID discount to it. We didn't have as much COVID discounting as we saw over in New York. But East London is really great because it has so much to do. It's diverse. There's lots of different communities of people here. I think it's the equivalent of maybe living in like Astoria in Queens, not in Manhattan. That would be central London. So let's start with the living room slash dining room slash kitchen. It all just kind of flows in. I think the focal point of this is my blue velvet sofa, which I got from this really interesting shop called Lofties. They sell ex-showroom and like slightly damaged furniture from some of the big, what's called high street furniture brands here in the UK, and you get them at a discount. By the way, if you're American, you'll notice I have said flat. We usually say flat here in the UK versus apartment. I've been very proud to have my little desk space here, which is where I work about 3 or 4 days a week, doing everything for Love and London. These chairs came from somebody off Facebook Marketplace who was moving and didn't need them anymore. And actually this little thing, I don't know actually what it is, but I got this at what's called a car boot sale, which is basically a garage sale, but people will drive their cars up. And a boot is the back of the car that opens up. So people will open up the back of their car and sell stuff out of it. And then the kitchen. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. I love lemons. So I bought these lemon prints off of Etsy, hung those up. Something that I really wanted to have, and I feel like maybe isn't as popular in some New York apartments, is a dishwasher. Before I moved into this flat, I didn't have access to a dishwasher for about 6 months during lockdown, and I found it so difficult. So as soon as I moved in here, I was so thankful for this, and I'm still very thankful for it. It's just like, also something that's quite common in the UK, especially in smaller spaces like this, is that you have the washing machine in the kitchen. Now that I've been here for 8 years, I've definitely come to appreciate having tea basically all of the time. And one thing that we have here that I never had in the US, which, because they're really not much of a thing in the US, is an electric kettle. It's basically where you put water in it and then you just flip the switch and it heats up the water to boiling, and that's what basically everyone in the UK uses to be able to make themselves tea. So as I mentioned before, this is a 1-bedroom apartment, and I think that this bedroom is actually a pretty good size for London. We are known for having quite small apartments, but not as small as New York. Something that is at a premium when it comes to London flats is having wardrobe space or having closet space. Very similar to New York, I know that. So the fact that I even have a built-in closet here is huge, and I'm very, very thankful for it. Otherwise, most people in London will get a wardrobe that you put in yourself. You can get it from like IKEA. These prints above the bed took me so long to find, and then I ordered them from a local seller off Etsy. It's a pretty good size actually for London bathrooms and London flats. Something that's really common in the US, but not that common here, but I actually have it, is a shower curtain. Because most places that you would rent here would have a glass shower door. And one thing that I do have that's very common in the UK, but not so much at all in the US, is a towel warmer. I don't think I've been to any place in the UK that didn't have a towel warmer. Just turn it on and pop your towels onto it, and it warms them up and dries them much faster than they usually would. One other thing I'll show you that I feel like is quite European is having 2 flushing buttons over the toilet. One of them is a smaller one, and that is basically where you use less water, so it preserves water. And the bigger one is for when you need bigger flushes. And I'll let your imagination decide why you would need one over the other. Favorite part of this flat is my balcony, which unfortunately I can't show you because it does make it very easy to figure out basically exactly where I live. But my balcony is not very big, but it's a lovely little space where I can sit outside in the mornings when it's nice out and have my tea. And I do feel like it's easier to get flats here with outdoor space than it is in New York.
Make sure to subscribe to Jess's channel for all things London. Now tell me in the comments, what are the differences between apartments in New York and apartments in London? I am really curious what you all thought. Thank you so much for watching. As always, till next time.